What's with the high fees? I doubt each has a job that requires a bricklayer here, you sham tradie. You got big balls, tradie style. Go have a 1v1 live chat with him. Wonder how hard Yakka feel about the use of the name in music? Surely a copywriter should can't use the VB song!
Listen, what do you call a bloke wearing a hard hat for any falling bad takes, wearing anti-cringe glasses, not welding glasses, anti-cringe glasses for any cringe that comes out of the PC screen, and wearing high-vis? There's only one kind of bloke that is. It's a tradie. Stop sooking about real Aussie tradies, alright? That's obviously what I am. And if you don't see that, or if you're carrying on about how I shouldn't be looking like a tradie, which I am in these videos, then I'll be forced to assume that's because you're a latte sipping bloody dole bludger. Now, speaking of latte sipping dole bludgers, Avi Yemini and Isaac Butterfield were both speaking about me in Isaac Butterfield's podcast a little while ago, and I thought what I'd do is I'd do a little bit more hard yakka and generally get my hands dirty. Now, none of yous carrying on about how I'm not a real tradie would know anything about get your hands dirty, would ya? Haven't done a hard day's work in your fucking lives, have you, you bloody latte sippers? Tell you what, if you think I'm not a real tradie, you're going to have to take that up with Isaac Butterfield for his Makita stereo in the background of his videos. Obviously, he picked that up for the worksite. And what do you think I've got high vis on for? Anyway, let's pick up tools.
All that business. They hear someone called a fascist or far right or Nazi. And all of those things, both of us have been called. And all of a sudden they're going, holy shit. This dude's fucking crazy. Like, he must be pushing extremist views. Where if they took the time, they'd go, oh no, that's just an obvious thought to have. One of the people that has, he had a run at me a couple of months ago, Tom Tanuki.
Oh God, bro, that guy made a reaction to my video, the one we're talking about, and he's the head of Yelling at Racist Dogs. He's one of the most infamous Antifa guys, anti-fascists.
Yeah,
you know, ABC turns to that guy for comments about fascism and racism and
really
you should him. He's the voice of reason.
Well, hang on. Okay, so thank you, Avi, for anointing me the king of Antifa. We can all accept that anti-fascism is, you know, it's a collection of tactics. It's things you do, and it changes very much over time. Yard's not a group per se. It's just a tactic. I mean, look at the name. It says Yelling at Racist Dogs, and Yard does what it says on the packet. Anyway, I'll bite. I'll take it. Thank you, Avi, king of Antifa. Good job.
He's a fucking idiot, that cunt.
He's
honestly,
an idiot, and
he's a fool.
He's actually like, I don't mind talking to anyone. I'll engage with the enemy. I have no problem because I believe in what I'm saying and I feel like I can back it. Their whole tactic is yelling at racist dogs. It's exactly what it sounds like, yelling at racist dogs.
Yeah, all right. So any regulars here will know about my history with Avi Yemini, but here it is, I suppose, in brief. So I feel pretty fucking bad for people who consistently listen to my videos because they have to hear me go on about this shit all the time. And I don't want you to be confused. I do not enjoy going on about Avi Yemini. He's one of the most boring parts of the shit that I do because he's been doing the same shit for fucking years. Very tedious. But I'm one of the best placed people to actually explain to people what it is that he does. So if you're one of these latte sippers that likes him or doesn't quite know his angle yet, here it is. In 2016-17, he went from being a self-promoting gym owner to being a self-promoting would-be alt-right pro-Trump type figure because he saw with figures like Milo Yiannopoulos how lucrative that was. Avi Yemini's never really put much effort into understanding politics. He just does angles at the expense of left takes and copies more established US and UK alt-right figures. Originally, he did rallies, fake rallies really, because all they were platforms for him to get protest chic going on in the background while he did cool Facebook Live self-promotional videos. When we formed Yard, Yelling at Racist Dogs, in late 2017, 2018, we countered that by yelling dumb shit at him from across the road. Now, we weren't yelling at him that he was a Nazi, which was a bit of a problem for him. We were just yelling pure old shit about how tiny he was. Actually, Avi Yemini's angle is very much, look at how lunatic the left are, I'm a Jew but they call me a Nazi. So if you starve him of that and just say undermining shit to him about how small he is, it generally fucks with him. So he stopped doing that actually in response to that kind of yarding after a while. And then transitioned to being someone who would pop up at the outskirts of rallies and ask 100 to 200 people gotcha style questions. You wouldn't have to know anything else. You wouldn't have to do a reasoned debate with anyone. He could just say one or two different little smart ass gotcha questions. He'll upload the worst answers and he'll eject all the rest of the footage. And we would start undermining him by approaching him at rallies and saying stuff that would eliminate his video footage, because if you say stuff to him repeatedly that he doesn't like, he doesn't include any of it in his videos. The fact that we repeatedly started doing that caused Avi to chuck a massive sook, and he began to throw tantrums. He even went up to the police once and tried to get us arrested, tried to get Yard members arrested for stalking, for doing the same thing that he does to lefties at rallies. Pretty funny, huh? Yard, actually, for better or worse, keeps him safe. Here's the thing. Yelling at Racist Dogs is very principled and limited in nature. We go up to him, we know exactly what we're doing with him, we ruin his footage, we say things to him he doesn't like, and that is it. If you look at alt-right figures like Andy No in America, who throw themselves, like Avi Yemini, into the middle of left rallies, when they get hurt, they end up getting very large donations and getting a very large profile. I don't want that for Avi Yemini. So, what we do is structured, measured and principled responses to alt-right video maker pests. I have no doubt in my mind that Avi Yemini would like it if we were aggressive to him, but we're not. Actually, the worst thing that's ever happened to Avi Yemini was that he got a bottle of water thrown on him, and that was when there weren't any yardies in the area structuring the response to him. Now, we've been ruining Avi Yemini pest videos for years, and that's why he doesn't like Yard, and that's why he doesn't like me. And in response to his feelings about me, all I suppose I would say to him is, suck me off, mate. Fuck you. Stop being a pest at the expense of activists.
And so then, but he did a reaction, and I got excited. I was like, cool, this is going to be great. And I sat down and actually watched this guy's reaction. And I encourage you all to go watch it. It's like, it makes no sense. His argument, the only points that he argues, you know, the actual stats or whatever, those ones he actually just gets wrong. That, like, he just makes up a number without no source, wrong. But everything else is just personal attacks, swearing, you know, and
you'd think that someone whose whole career is crafted around this image of them triggering snowflakes wouldn't respond to someone like me by saying, all you are is being rude and swearing. Sorry, tone police. Sorry, PC police. Sorry, I'm just a rough tradie. I spent quite a while live reacting to one of his videos, explaining in detail what it is that he does. But at the end of the day, Avi Yemini could say anything. He could say that I spent the entire video making weird little meowing, mewing, purring noises about him, and none of his fans would watch anything. You know, they lack that capability. They would all flood into my comments saying, oh, why'd you spend 30 minutes fucking meowing at him? Like, if you look at the average views of my video, they dip to below 1 minute from after he shared it. They don't watch. There's no getting to them. That's why there's no reason to engage, to ever think about engaging with this cunt or with anyone who watches him. They've all got chips on their shoulders. They're all insecure. I heard his feelings with the video, but it doesn't befit his relationship with his audience to genuinely respond to me or to anything that I said in that video, because that's not what he does with his own content. He just has to tell them, oh, he was just really rude to me. And then these cunts who seconds ago would have been like racially abusing someone in the Channel 7 comments and going, oh, get over it, snowflake, will come into my comments and go, why are you being rude for? They're all shit cunts, you know? I look down on Avi Yemini's followers more than I do Avi Yemini, which I'm sure they'll love to hear, because they're all enabling this cunt. Like, if you would leave him be, then he might actually have to start thinking about getting better. But oh no, you know, you reward him for being a shit cunt, and for being a dumb cunt, so he only gets dumber.
These are the guys who are meant to be teaching us about tolerance. And, you know, the funny thing is, he's some middle-aged white dude. According to his own thing, he should be kneeling. He should take a knee, motherfucker.
You should be washing your feet. That's what Tom...
Yeah.
No. No. I've given countless amount of hours of my time over the years to being a willful, deliberate, horrible fucking pest and smartass to people like Avi Yemini. If you think I'm couching myself or styling myself like the tolerant left, which is a made-up thing anyway, I'm not tolerant of fucking racists and dead shits, then you're either just trying to score points with your followers or you're a fucking idiot. Now, as regards washing feet, I like to think that my dynamic with Avi Yemini is a little bit more like me standing up on top of my moral high horse. Like, imagine standing on top of the saddle, like standing up on top of a horse, weeing down into his mouth. Me pissing, you know, I got my willy out and I'm weeing into his open gaping mouth. He can wash that off himself. But that's just our relational dynamic, you know. Less foot washing, more mouth weeing. Avi, FYI, this is one of the rude bits. If you want to clip out all the rest of my video and just say I spent the whole of this video being rude to you, this is one of the bits you should clip out and include in your response, okay? I mean, I'd prefer if we didn't do this back and forth forever and you just shut the fuck up and got used to our dynamic wherein you're a pest at rallies and I'm a pest to you. Like, there's no need for us to go over this forever. I know coronavirus means that we're all stuck at home, so you can't go out every week and go and annoy a rally and harass attendees. So I understand you've got to make videos while you're home and therefore you can use this. But yeah, anyway, this is one of the rude bits, FYI. Put that in, me pissing in your mouth.
And I'd have Tom on this podcast. I said that to him. I said, let's chat about it because I feel like...
You can't. He's scared. He will never talk to anyone that puts him on the spot. The funny thing is, his reaction video, which I'm thinking of doing a reaction to the reaction just because it's going to be so much fun.
He did do it, remember, as I said earlier. He ended up doing it and he responded to nothing of the substantial stuff that I had said, and he only responded to the insubstantial stuff where I called him a tiny hobbit and a cunt.
Fucking tiny fucking hobbit cunt. Avi Yemini is a 6-year-old boy. Because he's a dumb cunt. He's a fucking dumb cunt. He's a dumb 6-year-old boy. And he comes here, all 3 foot of him, and he asks the shittest questions. Tiny little fake IDF hobbit.
But he's like... I go on the street and, you know, it can get difficult to come up, like to sometimes I watch it back and go, fuck, I had a better response I could have come up with to that. Because you're on the spot, you're quick, and also you've got to remember you're in enemy territory where at any point you can be attacked. So you've got a number of things that you're considering while you're talking to people. And I still managed to, you know, because it's not very hard. Like, I get it. Low-hanging fruit.
There you go. Low-hanging fruit. Thank you, Avi. Yes, that's my point. Baiting people who aren't media trained into responding to disingenuous questions from a fake authority figure with a microphone and a camera and, you know, omitting all of the good answers and including only the shittest on the spot responses, that's low-hanging fruit. That's my point. That's what I'm always saying about you, Avi. We don't have a disagreement here. I agree with you about what you do. And what I do is to try and stop it.
Not yet. But this guy, he takes my video that he has all the time in the world to consider what he's going to say, and he still doesn't put forth a logical, sensible argument. And you just go, okay, there's no chance that guy's going to want to talk to you live, because if I was that stupid, I would hopefully be smart enough to know that too.
My whole line about Avi Yemini is that he doesn't mean anything he says. He doesn't actually care about politics. He's just structured a somewhat lucrative career for himself as a disingenuous, alt-right gotcha guy at rallies. I talk that talk, but I also walk that walk. I go out to rallies, I fuck with his footage, I ruin it for him. That's our dynamic. When I engage him in reaction videos, he misrepresents what I say. When he reacts to me, all of his followers blindly swallow what he says. And they don't listen to what I say either. So there's nothing to gain for me out of engaging with Avi Yemini. There's nothing to gain for me out of engaging with his gronk dickhead enabling followers. What's more, as we saw before, Avi Yemini and I agree about what his career is. We both agree that his main trade is low-hanging fruit. So I'm a pest to him, and he's a pest to left rallies. That's our dynamic. There is nothing to debate in there. But I will say this. You'll be seeing me at rallies soon. You already know that. I spend hours trying to find this gronk as he loiters around the edge of massive rallies, pestering people or trying to hide from groups like Yard. I look for him actively. I actually bumped into him last Invasion Day, but I didn't get to talk to him for long because he got dragged away by the coppers. So I will say this to you, Avi. I'll be looking for you. I'll see you at rallies. I know what you do and you know what I do. So I'll see you at one of them. And if you want your fucking debate, bro, you'll get it there. But if you want to do an online one, you've already got an offer since January with Friendly Geordies. I don't think he should be debating you either, or anyone. Because again, my point is that you're dangerous to activists and you're disingenuous and you don't really mean anything you say. However, it would be funny to watch Friendly Geordies wipe the floor with you. So, he's a political YouTuber anyway. I'm not quite like that. What I am is someone who ruins what cunts like you do at rallies. So we're different. He'd be able to do it. I'd love to see him make a fucking fool out of you.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to talk to those type of people that have said those things, particularly about me, because it's...
Hang on. All right, so we've talked about Avi Yemini at length. Now let's talk about Isaac Butterfield.
So this one's weird because, unlike with Avi, I don't really have much of a history with Isaac. My only history is me being right and him being a fucking sook. Last year, he did an epic bacon cringe promo for his show, which had a Heath Ledger Joker shtick in it. And then this year, earlier, he did another epic bacon promo, which had cringe Ned Kelly shtick in it. And I said they were both corny and cringe because they are. So that's evidence and research base. But Isaac, I guess Isaac does YouTube videos for 14-year-olds, so he's like a fragile cunt. So he came out and he must have seen there was the word Antifa somewhere on my profile. So he came out and said, why'd you call me a fascist? Come on to my podcast and debate why you called me a fascist. But as you've just heard, I never called him a fascist. I called him corny and cringe. I mean, mind you, I probably had one too many women come to me who said, Isaac's videos directed 1,000 rape threats my way, and that probably had an effect on why I don't like him. I mean, you don't just call everyone corny who's corny, you'd be here all fucking day. But nevertheless, that's all I said about him. I just said he's corny and cringe, which he literally is. He's epic bacon, I'm a sick cunt, he thinks I said he's a fascist. I didn't, I just told him to suck me off. That's about it. I think he thinks this is YouTube beef or something. And I would have just told him to suck me off again right now, but I guess he's doing a video with Avi Yemini, who's like a full-time pest in my world. So now I'm having to do a video about him, huh? Yay.
I think I can have that conversation with people, not in person or on stage or anything. I get too aggressive. It's not aggressive like throwing punches, but just yelling at people. But the yelling is racist.
I've seen one of your stand-up things. You're quite rude.
I'm quite rude. I'm a pig. I'm a piece of shit.
They say it's cool to position themselves as that when it's anti-PC. I'll tell it like it is. But then when I call Avi a hobbit and a cunt, it's the end of the world. Anyway.
But the whole yelling at racist dogs, 20 years ago, if you come up with that, people will be like, yeah, fucking oath, yell at those people. But once you move the goalposts and anyone is a racist. It's
so funny. When you get into arguments now, they go, Avi says he's anti-Antifa. Antifa's anti-fascist, which must mean he's pro-fascism.
Yes.
And I'm like, bro, just because you call... Okay, that's like if a rapist says he's anti-rape, but he still rapes. So if you're anti him for raping, suddenly you're pro... it doesn't make any freaking sense. Just because you call yourself something, it doesn't make you that.
Oh, this is tough work. You see why I'm a tradie, don't you? You see why I need this for these falling bad takes, hey? Why can't we have better alt-right figures? Anyway, this really is getting your hands dirty. Okay, so yelling at Avi Yemini, or disrupting his videos, or calling Isaac corny, that is not equivalent to fascism. You see how that's not. You see how that's not fascism, and how this, nuanced rape comparison doesn't. It's not a good analogy. Because what I do is not demanding a system of authoritarian genocidal government, and nor is it creating a climate of ambient fascism, in which people are more inclined to demand a system of authoritarian government. Do you see? Those are two stages of ambient fascism creating a demand for fascism leading to fascism. What I do is none of those things. It's actually very honed, specifically targeted at people like Avi. If he acknowledged that, he would be acknowledging exactly why he happens to be targeted by anti-fascists. Oh, funny, anti-fascists are dedicated to fucking with me. How did that happen? They must just hate everyone.
No, it doesn't make it so. And by definition, they are just not at all what they call themselves. It's quite, what it does is it takes the power away from the word. Now, 70 years ago, at the end of World War II, fascism was a filthy word. It was something that people looked at in disgust. That's what your brothers and your fathers and your sons died to fight against. All of a sudden, when you act like the boy who cries wolf, when you start screaming fascism at every single person who agrees with you, you take the power away from that word, and that is so dangerous. That is so wrong.
It's sad.
Do you think there's a boy who cried wolf aspect in screaming that everyone calls you a fascist? Do I think that Isaac Butterfield is a fascist, even though I haven't said it? Do I think that Avi Yemini is a Nazi, even though I haven't said it? Mate, I'm a studied anti-fascist with years of work under my belt. I know exactly who and what fascists are. Better than these dead shits. Perhaps not Avi, because he shook hands and worked with so many of them that he fucking knows who they are by name as well as I do. But I know more about the subject and the political system than they ever will, because they just don't read books. Don't fucking flatter yourselves. I prefer in 2020 to reserve the title fascist for actual National Socialists, or people who specifically espouse a National Socialist or fascist ideology. I do that for two reasons. One, because I really try to label things by their real name. I don't like to eject all nuance and when I'm looking at the far right, whatever their particular subcategory is. And I also think you actually are better able to leverage their differences against them if you understand exactly what they are. So I always try to call things by their actual name. The other reason is I do it because I know how lucrative it is for these people's profiling and angling, so I'm not just going to call them that because I think it's helpful for them to be called that. That doesn't answer the question. What are they, in my mind? What are they, and what is fascism? Well, fascism is like a brutally authoritarian and genocidal form of dictatorial government. But there's an important thing to understand about the rise of fascism as it's played out through history. It relies on creating a climate of nascent or ambient fascism beforehand to make it palatable. Because as in Nazi Germany, people voted it in. It needs a kind of ambient far-right populism to create a climate of perceived scarcity, to pit people against each other, and to demonise minorities and so on. That's what's required for people to eventually want a fascist government. So specifically, do I think Avi is a Nazi? No, I won't call him that. But I believe that he would be there cheering on in 2020 the new 2020 rebranded stormtroopers as they walk through the gates, even if it were just to get a hot new video for TR News. Do I think Isaac's a fascist? No, he's just a corny, unfunny, bland idiot who doesn't really know much about politics.
And
it's sad. Like I'm telling you, just from a Jewish perspective, it's I had there was a time where it just made me sad. Like now I'm just used to it because I've been in this for a while now. But there was a period where I was conflicted. I'm like, I don't want to act like Nazi doesn't mean anything, but what do I do? What do I do? Do I sit there and every time I get an allegation of being a Nazi, do I stand there and defend myself and justify why I'm not playing your goddamn game? So I'm like, you've redefined the term. So we'll just go with that. And you've taken away that you've done exactly what the Nazis would have wanted.
Avi Yemini came up in 2016-17 learning from the playbook of the likes of Milo Yiannopoulos. They all have the same grift angle. Because he's in Australia, it's still not all that passe. He's still able to make a big thing out of it. Because people in Australia are, there's a lot of very stupid people. Like, I can't be homophobic because I'm gay. Bam! I can't be racist because I'm married a black man. Bam! I can't be a Nazi because I'm Jew. Bam! Avi needs us to call him a Nazi because it benefits his profile and his alt-right angle. It's crazy, but it's a crazy world we live in, isn't it?
I am the world's proudest Jewish Nazi.
You see what I mean? That's his favourite angle.
You've made their term not so bad anymore.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to look at it. It's not a dirty word. They're making it easier.
It used to be dirty, and now it's not.
Now you hear it every day. It's part of the common vernacular. If you disagree with someone when they're a Nazi.
You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi.
And people like Tom who have adopted this mentality, it is very strange to think that this is a grown man sitting at home with his bald spot, thinking to himself, okay, I am an anti-fascist. I am yelling at racist dogs, and yet doesn't have the introspection within himself to look at the ideas and the ideologies that he has and spouts and think to himself, oh, well, that doesn't really all add up. Man, if I was pushing that shit and I didn't fucking have the balls to go, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I do that all the time on my channel. I weigh up both sides of the argument. And sometimes I sit on the fence because that's what needs to be done. A lot of the time, these fights, these arguments, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. And people like Tom refuse to have that as even something that is possible to bring on board. And that is fucking shameful. Fuck you, Tom, you stupid cunt.
I love it. I love with Isaac how transparently he wears his temper and his emotion on his sleeve. He's a very insecure and fragile guy, and I can see the weakness behind his eyes. It tells volumes about the insecurity and the fragility of his, 14-year-old chip on the shoulder boy base, that they can't see that and that he's as popular as he is. Because the only way you can not smell the weakness behind Isaac Butterfield's eyes is if you are also that weak. It's a shame, really. It is. It's a shame that it's so easy to hurt him. And it's a shame it's not so obvious to many of the people following him how easily wounded this person is. I think he's a great argument for why we need to work on men. Like, I wouldn't think it was as funny as I do if he hadn't worked so hard to craft this image of himself as like a fearless anti-PC agitator. Mate, you're a sook.
I can't wait for his reaction to this part.
Fuck him.
There you go.
No one watches his channel anyway. The fucking retard.
I know. What's funny? He did that video, and then I just cut a little preview and put it on Twitter. The Twitter one, I don't know, in a couple of hours got 10,000 views. and his like shameful little cries got 250 views in like 24 hours. And you're like,
I know, it's crazy, right? Like, I'm such a small content creator, A lot of my work's in person at Activism or what have you, but online I don't have a huge presence, particularly on fucking YouTube where these guys are, they're most viral or whatever. Like Avi has hundreds of thousands of followers. Isaac has over 1 million. They have so much on their plate, You'd think so anyway. So why dwell so hard on little old me? Maybe it's because I
Live rent free in your head, 'cause I make you look Like I said,
Poor Tom. He's really trying. He's got a Patreon. Like,
Does he?
Yes.
guys, he's got Patreon. He calls it his trade.
Yes.
I'm like, that is the worst goddamn tradie there is.
Hey.
how would you know you haven't worked a real job in several years?
Patreon Tom Tanuki.
Yeah, here we go. Let's get on my Patreon.
Looking forward to Tom going on my Patreon too.
I'm looking forward to Isaac coming on my... Everyone
I'll just bring it
subscribe.
up. I don't know if you can see it. I know you're on your phone.
Free plug from
I
Isaac
can't see
Butterfield and
anything.
Avi.
All right, can you see that?
Thank you,
Yep.
everyone. Hop on Twitter.
Okay, yelling at racist
Tom
dogs. Tom
Tanuki.
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 Isn't that? Is it? Go down. Yeah.
Tanuki.
Patreon, there it is.
There we go.
Like it's
Click
just
away.
the name of a Japanese folkloric
Tom Tanuki
creature.
is creating stories, characters, laughs, and a hub for Oz activism. So you can be daddy. Oh, Jesus Christ, Tom. Shadow financier double daddy. For $10, you can be a ruthless, scheming triple daddy. Fucking hell, dude. Ultra Findom, Ultra Quad. Do you know any of these fucking words, Avi?
No, but you know what I find funny?
When you're me, you work the way I've worked over the years, you cultivate a group of followers who know exactly where you're coming from. For example, I can sit there calling Isaac Butterfield and Avi Yemini and all their followers latte sipping dole bludgers, and they know that I'm, sort of upending that usual trope where kind of like parochial right-wing people will say that towards lefties. It's a meaningless term, so you might as well just leverage it. In fact, there's a hypocrisy there in latte sipping on one hand and dole bludger, so it's funny to me. But I don't have to explain that to anyone following me. They just get that. That's one of the many reasons why I'm so grateful that I've got a small but dedicated and really fucking smart group of followers. So you don't take that kind of following for granted, and you don't use your followers and the people that really support you, and when they're able to put their money where their mouth is, you don't use that as a dick measuring thing. However, I do think it's funny that in the context of the conversation they were just having, which was, ha ha ha, look at how small Tom Tanuki is, look at how huge we are, look at how big our follower decks are. They went onto my Patreon page, and I think they were going. I think Isaac was going on there to laugh at my small following, but in 6 months I managed to get considerably more followers than he managed to in 2 years. How funny is that? And actually, he's just shut his Patreon down recently. Maybe he thought about this and did it. I don't know. I just think I just think it's indicative of what it is to have 1.4 million subs, all of whom are frustrated 14-year-old boys with chips on their shoulder, latte sipping dole bludgers, versus having a small but committed following who understand that you work under a moral and political framework. Thanks for the plug, guys.
These clowns, they always go on about how, they're like, maybe before he opened his Patreon and then he shut up about it, but they go on about how, like alt media, people like us, tr.news, where we always put a thing like, if you want to support our work, go to tr.news/support. I did that at the end of all my videos because that's how we're funded. We're funded by the people. And they have always made fun of that idea, and then suddenly they jump on Patreon and start their own, and they don't talk about it at all.
Hang on a sec. Now, I don't think Avi's a grifter because, he has substance support, financial supporters. I think he's a grifter because all of his content is completely disingenuous and intellectually dishonest, as I've been describing for the whole video. That's why I think that.
It's actually really similar in the comedy industry. I am seen as the dark horse, which is probably a bad term for the current climate, but I'm seen as the dark horse because I'm... Is
that like black? Are you black-facing in words?
I'm pushing a black narrative. I'm a dude who makes content on the internet, and that's seen as something that you shouldn't do because that's what's the word I'm searching for? It's looked down upon. It's the
amateur wannabe.
Yeah, all that shit. So people in the comedy industry just don't like me. Whatever, that's fine.
Okay, well, no, I mean the internet is littered with stories of success as creators who translate into real life careers or careers in other industries. So, I don't think that's true, Isaac Butterfield. I think Isaac, he almost had a Netflix special, as I recall it, before he made jokes about Jews getting gassed. And then someone emailed him about it, that's right, and he doubled down on it. And it came out, and then he lost his special. Good luck, go get your money, but you're probably not getting a great reception, as in, like, I imagine comedians aren't generally embracing you with open arms because you're not funny. I don't know. Don't get mad, I'm just saying you're not funny, you've just got a chip on your shoulder.
But all of a sudden, because they realise that this is the only way that you get anywhere in comedy, anywhere in the world, every big comedian has a social media following everywhere.
Yeah.
Look at the biggest YouTube star, Joe Rogan. Massive. Just signed a $100 million deal with Spotify.
Huge. But he's not funny either, actually. It's all subjective, but he's not funny, is he? Lots of blokes like him, but lots of blokes are dumb cunts and, see their fan base as evidence of this. Honestly, we pray for these men. We pray that they get smart enough to realise that their idols are not funny. We really do. That would be amazing. We do. But until then, we look down on them. Tradies like me look down on people who like Avi Yemini and Isaac Butterfield and Joe Rogan. We look down on those latte-sipping dog bludgers. We really, really do. And in fact, if you follow these gronks, I blame you more than them because you're enabling them. If you didn't follow them, then maybe they would work harder. If everyone stopped following Isaac Butterfield, maybe he would go, okay, well, I better go back to the drawing board and start thinking about how to write jokes, for comedy, because that's what I want to be. Or, he wants to be a comedian. He might think to himself, well, okay, I better start thinking about how to be a comedian. But you're enabling him, so he's not doing that. He's not going back to the drawing board. He's not thinking critically about why he never, how is it that lots of people think you're a comedian, but you never tell any jokes,
If anyone, what a fucking...
But here's the thing, hang on. I work a lot, and I do a lot of research and such, as I said earlier, and I wouldn't bother at all with an Isaac Butterfield. I promise you that I would not. I'd never have done this, but now he's here with Avi Domestic Violence Yemini. And he's recently done shit with Sydney Watson too. So it's clear to me where Isaac's heading. What an achievement for you. Anyway, getting a mention from little old tiny me. You and your fucking comedy.
With this motherfucker right here, this beard, I could grow a clit tomorrow and still be more of a man than any dude running around with no fucking beard. There are only two types of people that don't have beards: children and people with vaginas. What do you have, mate?
And people say that Muslims are angry people, and I couldn't disagree more. They've just got a really short fuse.
I'd hate to think of the pubic region of a lady with a beard like mine. It must be the hairiest fucking thing in the entire world.
Imagine being terrified that if you cut your beard off, you'll turn gay. What a sad Novocastrian sword of Damocles to sit under for your entire life.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a beard, you're a Sheila. That's right. Yep, stick with me. Yep. And you deserve to be bullied every day of your Newcastle high school life, and to have nightmares about your Newcastle football dad being disappointed in you. Yep, every night. Every night. Tell you when that doesn't apply though, the whole man Sheila beard thing, when you're a Muslim. That's when you're a terrorist. So it's different. They're not like us. They don't have Newcastle football dad. Stick with me.
Isaac's a comedian like Rice Gum is a rapper. That is to say, not really, but as a lot of 14-year-old boys have subscribed to them on YouTube, they seem to think that they can call themselves whatever they like.
How many insecure sons does it take to create a career as a subpar YouTube comedian? Don't worry, I won't leave you hanging. The answer is in total 1. Half the man to record the videos, the other half to whisper into his ears in the dead of night that he'll never be as much of a man as his Newcastle football dad. Oh yeah, we're going there. Yep. Stay with me.
Son, it's okay to have people who don't like you in this world, okay? If you're going to style yourself as an anti-PC comedian, you're going to get people who don't like you, particularly if you're not funny. But anyway, honestly, I'm not that interested in your life or career, Isaac. And I want you to live your best life, like go for it. Let's not intersect with each other regularly. Here's a pointer on that as to what's best for you in your life and career. Here's a little suggestion, and I tell you this now while you've got time. Stop associating with people like Yemini and Watson. When I go at like Yemini, it isn't YouTube beef. You've got the wrong lens on for this. It isn't me being a hater or me trying to clout chase. It doesn't work like that for me. It's what I have to do because Avi Yemini is a pest and a genuine danger to activists, and he's been dangerous to them again and again. I know you don't know about what he can do and what he's done. I'm pretty confident you're not aware. Take it from me. I am so tired of talking about that cunt. But I know that he'll never vanish because he knows he'll never have another job again apart from that. I've accepted it. It's fine. It's part of what I do. It's actually my job as one of a pretty small pool of anti-fascist like content creators in Australia to fill people in on him, as well as to do what I do, you know, and what Yard does with him at rallies and what have you, to stop him. It is a rough trade, but somebody's got to do it, bro. Losing a Netflix special because you said some offensive shit, it's not even the half of it. If you think you're banned now, try being banned from fucking everything because you keep digging the hole that you've started to dig for yourself here. Avi'd be a good person to ask if he weren't such a fucking train wreck that he can't even be honest with himself or anyone else about that. His life hasn't gone great for it. And yours won't either. Get out of this left-right, alt-righty culture war shit. You're not good at it. You need to do a lot more reading and research to be good at that. It's a tough gig we all do in fringe left-right politics stuff. And I can see you're trying to dip your toes into it, but you're honestly in way over your head. Stick to Dubbo, RSL, and enjoying the attentions of 1.4 million teenage boys. Not like grooming, I don't mean that. I didn't mean that. Just like them buying fuck vegans stickers from you. Stick to that. Don't go here, mate. Tradie, a real tradie. I'm a real tradie. You're a dull bludger. Imagine making videos for the rest of your life. A 14-year-old who can't come, and how terrified they've disappointed dad.
Patreon Tom Tanuki. Patreon Tom Tanuki. Patreon Tom Tanuki. Patreon Tom Tanuki. Patreon Tom